We're all constantly bombarded with financial advice, right? Everyone's telling us the right way to manage our money. But what if the best advice isn't some rigid, secret formula at all? What if it's really just about finding the one answer that works, uniquely for you?
To really get this, we've got to go back in time and ask a question that's going to sound a little weird. What on earth could a trip to the dentist nearly a century ago have to do with how we should think about our money today? Well, as it turns out, everything.
And it all kicks off with a really shocking true story, one that kind of pulls back the curtain on this deeply flawed but once very common way of thinking. A philosophy where the expert was king, and what you thought, well, it didn't matter one bit. So picture this. It's 1931. A guy named Clarence Hughes walks into a dental office. He's in absolute agony, just desperate for some relief from a bad toothache. And he does what any of us would. He trusts the expert, the man in the white coat, to fix it. The dentist puts him under anesthesia. But here's where things get crazy. While Clarence is out cold, the dentist goes way beyond just fixing one tooth. He decides to perform this radical procedure, removing 16 of Clarence's teeth and his tonsils, all without ever getting his permission. And the outcome was just catastrophic. Clarence Hughes died only a week later from complications. His wife, obviously devastated, sued the dentist. But here's the thing. She didn't sue because the surgery failed. That was a known risk back then. She sued because her husband never, ever agreed to it in the first place. Now, this is the part that will blow your mind. The court actually sided with the dentist. And their reasoning? They argued that doctors, as the experts, needed total freedom to make what they thought were the best decisions for a patient. The patient's own opinion was basically seen as irrelevant. So you're probably wondering, okay, what does this awful story have to do with my finances? Well, for decades, the world of financial advice operated under the exact same expert knows best philosophy. I mean, just look at this. The parallels are striking, right? In old medicine, the doctor knew best. In old finance, the advisor knew best. Medicine had its one right cure. Finance had its one right portfolio. And in both worlds, your personal feelings, your fears, your goals, they were all considered irrelevant compared to the expert's correct answer. But here's the big realization we've had since then. Money, just like our health, is deeply personal. Financial advice is so tricky precisely because we all have completely different goals, different timelines, and really different ideas about what is worth it. The so-called right answer has to actually work for the individual. So if we're throwing out the old, rigid prescriptions, what do we do instead? Well, let's look at a new framework. And listen, this is not a set of rules. Think of it more like a checklist. 7 universal truths you can use to build a financial strategy that is uniquely and powerfully your own. First up, find some humility and learn to forgive yourself. When an investment does great, don't just chalk it up to your own brilliance. Acknowledge that a little bit of good luck was probably involved. And when things go wrong, forgive yourself by remembering that risk is real. Not every loss is your fault. This mindset, it just keeps you grounded. Number 2 is a big one. Less ego, more wealth. Look, building wealth isn't really about finding the hottest stocks. It's about consistently controlling your spending today so you have more options and more freedom tomorrow. It's that simple. I love this little formula. Savings equals income minus ego. That little voice in your head that wants to show off with the expensive car or the fancy watch, that's ego. And it is an absolute wealth killer. Seriously, keeping your ego in check is the fastest way to grow your savings. Next up, something I call the sleep at night test. You have got to manage your money in a way that gives you personal peace of mind. For some people, that means chasing the highest possible returns. For others, it means keeping a big cushion of cash. And guess what? Neither is wrong as long as it lets you sleep at night. All right, truth number 4, increase your time horizon. Time is the single most powerful force in finance. It's like a superpower. It has this magical ability to turn small amounts of money into very large ones, and it can make even your biggest mistakes kind of fade into the background over the years. Number 5, respect the long tail. Now, this sounds technical, but the idea is simple. It just means that a few rare, massive successes can completely outweigh a whole bunch of small failures. You could literally be wrong half the time and still make a fortune because a handful of huge winners do all the heavy lifting. So judge your overall success, not every single bet. And number 6 gets right to the heart of it. Control your time. The highest form of wealth isn't a flashy car. It's the ability to wake up every morning and say, I can do whatever I want today. That's what money is for, to buy back your time, to buy your freedom.
And finally, number 7, worship room for error. You need a buffer, a safety net between what could happen in a worst-case scenario and what you need to happen to be okay. That buffer gives you endurance, and endurance is the secret ingredient that allows the magic of compounding to actually work.
So, what do all these truths lead to? A single, powerful idea. The goal isn't to find the one best financial strategy out there. It's about respecting that we're all different. It's acknowledging that smart, reasonable people can disagree on money because their goals and their desires are different.
So here's the bottom line, the crucial takeaway. Forget all the one-size-fits-all prescriptions from the past. There is no single right answer for everyone. There is only the answer that works for you, for your goals, and for your peace of mind.
And that's really the only question that truly matters. By using these 7 truths as your guide, you can start to build a financial life that isn't just mathematically sound on paper, but one that is personally meaningful to you. So, what is the financial answer that truly works for you?